I'm Melissa Jura. This is the future of sex.
We at Sexerati don't need to answer the question, why do we hack things? Whether it's a lover or a machine, work or pleasure, most of us in this sex-smart generation just aren't satisfied with what you can get off the shelf.
An off-the-shelf relationship might serve us just fine for a little while, but once we worked with it, we realized there's more we'd like it to do than what it said it could do on the box. We realized it has certain limitations built into its design or built into its warranty. Things we never even agreed to when we signed up for it, when we brought it home.
When we're talking about relationships and how we can hack them, what, you might ask, is the standard issue? What is the out-of-the-box item we're most often advertised? Monogamy. But what about those of us who want to go under the hood, take it apart and see how it works? Unfortunately, most monogamous relationships don't get that way out of careful selection or even choice. That's the problem with an out-of-the-box relationship. Most of the time it's not going to work unless we make some modifications. Two common mods on monogamy are so common we don't even consider them hacking: serial monogamy and cheating. Let's think of these as accidental relationship hacks, on par with taping over the blinking 12 o'clock on your home theater rather than just opening or Googling the manual. Now this brings us to our first essential tools in relationship hacking. These might be things you already have lying around the house or can pick up in the neighborhood without too much searching.
Condoms for safety, cell phone for scheduling, and consent.
Now, by definition, cheating and serial monogamy don't involve us getting consent from our partners and lovers before we begin our experiments. True relationship hacking requires us to communicate both our intentions and our progress along the way. What if jumping off into completely unknown territory is too much to take on in an experiment? Sex can be a lot of work, though, which is why sometimes we just end up back at that old off-the-shelf model. Nowadays, modern lovers unsatisfied with monogamy can choose from a range of pre-assembled relationship styles. You can think of these like kits, a little something you can play out over the weekend, and if you don't like the results, just scrap it and start over.
A relationship kit is what most people think of when they think of alternative relationships. They can come loaded with certain expectations of what you might wear or a new name to give yourself, and usually some pretty fabulous gear to play with.
The real question posed by these assembly-required kits is how do you incorporate other people's designs into your own relationships? Here then is your chance to exercise your communication skills and your creativity, because no one size fits all, even in so-called alternative lifestyles. Maybe what's needed most here is a sort of relationship multi-tool, and if ever there was one, it's the following phrase. So applicable, even in potentially tricky and very experimental situations.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by, I can be rough with you? Do you want me to pinch your nipples or choke you hard with my cock? Or what do you mean by, you want to see other people? Do you want to hear about the other people that I'd like to see as well? Or what do you mean by, you'd like to have a threesome? Does that mean you want to get into relationships with other people, or just invite someone into bed as a one-night-only guest star?
Coming up with the kinds of dynamic relationships that accommodate all these user needs can lead us back to that unknown territory. A place where we realize that we're not just hacking our relationships, but building whole new tools to do it with. What are the tools that we might need to make ourselves then to enjoy this full range of flings, lovers, affairs, and partners, no matter what the configuration might look like? Charm, to draw the desires of those that we meet. Compassion, to accept them and to accept ourselves. And lastly, confidence, because we might not know what we're making yet, but at least we know we're making it ourselves. A DIY relationship hacker most often thinks of himself not so much as single, but secure in his own desires. She might choose a partner when she wants one, or arrange a cluster of lovers in different cities, or on different nights of the week. He could be the type who stays in touch with his partners and lovers, or who doesn't draw hard and fast lines around those differentiations. The consummate relationship hacker doesn't think of him or herself as slutty so much as being in possession of that virtue we usually appreciate in other innovators and explorers: experience. Inventors of all kinds are so very rarely satisfied with what the mass culture hands them, whether that's the news we watch or how we watch it, the way we get things done, and the way we do each other, whether that's love or the ways we make love. This has been The Future of Sex. I'm Melissa Jura for Sexerati.com. Good night and good fuck.